government lawmakers and Silicon Valley executives have been aggressively trying to convince us that they can pretty much build an impenetrable, perfectly secure digital fortress to lock down the entire internet. But honestly, the reality is that they are currently getting completely humiliated by basically everyone. Like, imagine spending untold amounts of taxpayer money, years of research, and organizing massive press conferences to announce pretty much the ultimate digital bouncer, only to watch it get absolutely dismantled in the time it takes to microwave a damn Hot Pocket. That's literally what happened this year when the European Commission, well, they proudly presented their highly anticipated official age verification app. They stood up there and bragged that this app was finally the solution that met the highest possible privacy standards, and pretty much they even published the open source code as a massive flex to prove how transparent they were. But honestly, their confidence was so incredibly premature, it actually is funny. Because within mere hours of the app hitting the internet, literally independent security researchers started poking around at it, and a security consultant named Paul Moore, well, they managed to completely bypass the app's entire security system in less than 2 minutes. Like, 2 minutes. Like, the European Union wanted this app to be the wholly single privacy preserving standard that replaced all those chaotic age verification laws across the continent. But instead, they actually proved to the entire world that their flagship technology and age verification in general is basically just a highly restrictive, expensive screen door that anyone can just walk right around. Like, it is completely baffling to watch these massive governments and tech companies just fumble so bad. Like, they act like they have solved online safety when they are literally getting like outsmarted this badly on day one. To truly appreciate how embarrassing this fumble is, you have to look under the hood at exactly how this app was bypassed. Because the researcher didn't use some insane government level hacking software. Like, he literally just edited a single text file on his phone. The entire promise of the EU's age verification app was that it would safely check your passport or your national ID and then use zero knowledge proof so platforms wouldn't get your actual underlying data. Which sounds great until you realize that they literally built a security architecture like a middle school coding project. Like, the app actually stored its highly sensitive encrypted PIN in a completely editable configuration file sitting right there on the user's device, entirely separate from the secure identity vault where it actually should have been. And because of this massive oversight, an attacker could just delete a few values, restart the app, and set a completely new PIN. And it gets so much worse. Like, you know how your phone locks you out if you guess your passcode wrong too many times? Well, the EU's app stored that rate limiting like control as a simple counter in the exact same editable file, meaning that you could literally just open the file, delete like the number of failed attempts, just type the number 0, and just keep on guessing forever. But the absolute funniest part of this entire breakdown was how they handled the biometric facial scan. Like, the developers literally controlled the biometric authentication requirement with a single like boolean flag, which means the researchers simply just opened the code, found the word like true, deleted it, just typed the word false, and then the app just entirely skipped the facial check. Like, literally, the CEO of Telegram just roasted them immediately, pointing out that the app was basically hackable by design because it blindly trusted the user's device, calling it an instant game over for security. Like, you actually can't make this up. But the disastrous incompetence isn't just limited to government developers. Like, the private corporate sector, well, it is also actively hoarding your data while aggressively preaching how much they simply care about your privacy. Let's talk about Yoti, like, which is undeniably one of the absolute like kingpins of digital ID and age estimation vendors on the internet right now. So they constantly promise users that their software is completely safe, claiming that they don't process biometric data for identification, but just look at your face to estimate your age. Well, Spain's data protection regulator, the AEP, well, they decided to actually look into those claims, and they slapped Yoti with a massive around €1 million fine for completely violating user privacy. Like, the regulator totally rejected Yoti's defense, explicitly ruling that their digital ID app was unlawfully processing special category biometric data without valid consent, And to make matters worse, well, they were actively hoarding people's personal information way past the allowed retention limits. Like, just think about how like unhinged this is. Like, we are currently being forced by new laws to hand over our driver's license and just let random third-party apps scan little faces, all while the biggest company providing that exact service is actively getting fined nearly €1 million by a European government for illegally mishandling that exact biometric data. Like, it completely destroys the entire trust model of mandatory age verification, proving that these vendors aren't the perfect objective safety guardians. They're just private, profit-driven companies building massive, highly lucrative databases of user identities while quietly hoping nobody looks closely enough at their GDPR violations. Because the technology is this fundamentally broken and the companies running it are just this untrustworthy, well, we are now seeing an absolutely massive underground economy of regular internet users figuring out how to bypass the whole system just to protect their own privacy. Like, seriously, digital right experts are now openly pointing out that these age checks force you to expose so much sensitive data that over like half the people who encounter them actively attempt to bypass them, including me and my family, primarily by using virtual private networks. Like, millions of people are simply booting up services like NordVPN or Proton VPN to go, by the way, selecting a server in a country like Switzerland that doesn't have these insane age verification laws, and completely bypassing the digital bouncer without ever scanning an ID. And obviously, the kids that these laws are supposed to protect, supposedly, are the same ones using these exact same workarounds the most effectively. Like, teenagers are just tunneling their web traffic to instantly strip away the regional blocks, leaving the massive billion-dollar verification systems just completely useless against anyone who knows how to click a single button. Like, the bad actors and the tech-savvy miners, well, they already know exactly how to game the system, which completely defeats the purpose and leaves average non-technical adults as the only ones actually getting their privacy wrecked. So ultimately, what we are witnessing is a catastrophic cycle of tech industry hubris colliding with lawmakers who are completely out of touch with how the internet actually functions. Like, you have politicians doubling down on these strict digital ID mandates, promising the public a perfectly safe walled-off internet, while simultaneously the flagship government apps are getting hacked in a minute, which is kind of crazy by changing a single word in a text document. And the top corporate vendors are bleeding out like fines for illegally hoarding biometric profiles. Like, it is an impossible paradox where the security gets increasingly more invasive, demanding more and more sensitive information from law-abiding like people, yet the actual bypass methods remain completely trivial and pretty widespread. Like, we could be heading into an environment where your face, your government ID, and your browsing habits are constantly being packaged and verified by corporate entities that cannot even secure their own backend configuration files. Like, until these tech executives and legislators, well, they actually wake up and realize that you cannot permanently like wall off the internet using software that fundamentally trusts client-side devices, well, they're going to keep getting just publicly humiliated by security researchers and also just random teenagers. Like, the entire age verification industry is currently built on the incredibly arrogant assumption that they can just outsmart human ingenuity with a few lines of code. But history is proving right now in this year that the internet will always route around these methods. So yeah, that's it for this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.